The number 3 biggest thing that I hate about the Skydio 2 is that when you're using the beacon and the drone is tracking you through the action, it's pretty aggressive. That's a problem? Well, no. It's good that it does its best to keep up with you and stick to the angle that you set for it. But if for whatever reason it loses you visually, and when it switches from visual to GPS tracking, the Skydio 2 has the tendency to abruptly turn away and go careening off in some direction that you're totally not going in. It turns away and wanders through the woods seemingly aimlessly, and you're wondering where the hell it's going, and you start anticipating its potential demise because it feels like it's malfunctioning. Or other times, when it loses sight of you, it shoots way up in the air, like, oh sure, that's where I went. And then from way up there, it still tracks you and is aware of where you're moving, but the Skydio 2 will never pick you up again visually because it's facing the total wrong direction. What is it? I think they might have fixed that. What? I think they might have fixed that. There was this time, just this past December 2021, I did a thing that Skydio really frowns upon, by the way. I went out to a super wide open area to fly with my great new friend Nate, who has a cool YouTube channel, by the way. It's called NK9 FPV. You should definitely check it out sometime. He's a terrific FPV drone pilot. But I digress. I wanted to try an experiment involving firmly securing my Skydio's beacon to Nate's Mavic 2 Pro to see if we could get my Skydio to track it. It took some work because the Skydio 2 isn't really able to recognize anything other than a person or a car, and the Skydio 2's program gives priority to visual tracking over GPS, but eventually we got it to work. The Skydio 2 only had the GPS signal from the beacon. It couldn't recognize or see the Mavic at all. But even though the Skydio only had the GPS signal, wherever the Mavic went, wherever it turned, whatever maneuver it did, the Skydio kept to the beacon in frame almost the entire time. So you think they might have fixed that? Well, I have to wait until the leaves come back out on the trees in the woods to test it out, but based on what I've seen so far from the most recent update, I'm thinking, yeah, they might have fixed that. So I'm still on 3? Yep, you're still on 3. Yeah. I have an idea. What's that? Why don't you limit the rest of this list of stuff you hate to things that can't be fixed with an app or a firmware update? Yeah, that might work. Yeah. But I don't really know what to say. Can I give it a shot? Yeah. Knock yourself out. Okay, number 3 on the list of things that bothers me the most about the Skydio 2 is that if you ever have to send it in for repairs, make sure you check out episode 3 of My Skydio and Me, by the way. I talk about that a little bit more. They'll tell you what the damage is, they'll tell you how much it costs to repair, but when they send it back, I don't think they ever send you back your drone. Well, maybe they do that in order to shorten the turnaround time for getting you back to flying again as quickly as possible. Oh, that may be, but if I ever took my car to a garage for maintenance and paid for the specific repair and everything, if the mechanic tries to send me home in a different car, I don't care if it's the same make and model. If they try to get me a car that isn't mine... Unless it's a brand new one. Yes, unless it's a brand new one, yes. And it's the latest model? A man can dream, right? Yes, you certainly can.